Hi, my name is Litsa Williams. I'm a clinical social worker and the co-founder of What's Your Grief, one of the country's largest online grief and bereavement support organizations. I've been working in this field for about 15 years, supporting people who have experienced all types of losses, though my kind of real area of interest and expertise is working with folks who have experienced traumatic and unexpected losses. But over the years, at this time of year, one of the things that we know is just that the holiday season is so hard for people, no matter what type of loss that folks are going through. The holiday season is just a time of year where we have so many memories. We have so many specific ideas about what the holidays are supposed to look like based on how they looked in the past or who was with us or where we were. We oftentimes are so aware of who is missing from our holiday or how things have had to change. And it can make the holiday season feel especially difficult. So I just wanted to share a few ideas, suggestions, thoughts about the holiday season. It certainly isn't anything that can magically take the pain of the holiday away, but there are things that can really help with being able to get through the holiday season and cope as a family. So, when we think about the issue of grief at the holidays, one of the things that is so challenging is that everyone in a family grieves differently. And what you may be experiencing and what might be helpful for you may be incredibly different than what someone else is experiencing in your family and what might be helpful for them. So, one of the things that really is the top priority as you plan for your holiday season is to sit down and talk together as a family, to just be able to acknowledge that this is probably going to be a tough time of year for everyone in different ways and for different reasons, and to just open up the communication about what people are thinking about the holidays, what they're worrying about, if people have had any ideas about what they want or what they don't want out of their holiday season. Within this can be a conversation about roles and needs. It might be that the person you have lost played a huge part in your holiday season, and now you're going to need to think about who's going to step in to fill some of the roles that that person used to fill. It may be that some people in your family or that you particularly are feeling overwhelmed by roles that you filled in the past. Maybe you are the person who has always made the meals or done the shopping, and you just don't feel up to it this year. It can be really important to articulate that to your family members, to see about sharing some of those responsibilities, if someone else can step into some of those roles, or if it would be helpful to let some of those roles and responsibilities go this year, to decide that maybe things are going to look a little bit different, that certain traditions will have to change. That doesn't mean that you are changing them forever. It just means that you're changing them for this year. You can take each year as it comes and decide what feels right for you this year, and then revisit that again next year. It may be that you as a family decide you want to take a break from the holiday altogether, and just sort of keep your head down and skip it. And that's absolutely okay if that's what you decide that you want to do. The thing that we encourage is, if you decide to do that, to really think about how you'll spend the day instead. Oftentimes people decide to skip the holiday, but then don't really think through what the day is going to look like. And when the day comes, they end up feeling like it was maybe even harder than it would have been otherwise, or harder than they expected, because they didn't make a plan for what the day would look like. Now, maybe that plan is just that you like hang out and watch your favorite movies and eat carry out, and that it doesn't have to be a fancy plan, but it oftentimes helps to have at least thought through what the day will look like. Again, if you decide to skip the holiday, it doesn't mean that you're skipping it forever. It just means that this year you may not be feeling up to it, and that's okay as well. If you are sitting down with family members, one thing you really want to consider is whether there are ways you want to stay connected to the person who died. Oftentimes it can feel really difficult if someone is missing from your holiday table and no one acknowledges it, or there's not a conversation about that absence. So trying to decide in advance as a family, are there things that you may want to do to honor that person? Maybe you will make the food that they traditionally always made or what their favorite food was for the holiday. Maybe if it is a gift giving holiday, you'll still buy the gifts that you were going to get for that person who you would have gotten for them. And you, as a family, donate those gifts somewhere or exchange those gifts with each other instead. It may be that you do some sort of memory sharing where you go around and all share a good holiday memory of that person who isn't here. There are no rules to what it looks like to continue bonds and connections at the holidays. So just brainstorming some ideas, thinking about what might be nice, and also making sure that you don't catch people off guard. If you're going to do something like invite people to share memories, it can be helpful to let people know in advance because some people find that very overwhelming or emotional, and it can be hard if they feel like they're put on the spot for it. So just thinking about what that might look like can be really important. One of the most important things at the holidays is to just give yourself permission to find joy at the holiday season. Oftentimes, people will feel tremendous amounts of guilt at the holidays if they enjoy things or if they start to kind of feel that magic and wonder and comfort that can come at the holiday season. Because sometimes people feel like their pain is their connection or they don't deserve to have a good holiday season if the person they love isn't here. One of the things that is so important is to remember that your pain is not your connection to the person who died. Your connection to the person who died is all of your incredible memories of them, the values that they instilled in you, the things they taught you, the way that you live differently in the world now because you knew them, because they were part of your life. Those are the ways that you keep the connections to that person going. Your pain is something that, in fact, in many cases can actually make it harder for us to feel connected with those memories, harder to tell those stories or to come together. So what I would encourage you to do this year is to remember that there is space for all of your grief, all of the sadness, but also space for moments of comfort and family and joy and appreciation. So we really encourage you to remember that one of those things does not have to take away from the other. All of those feelings can live side by side together during the holiday season. There are a lot of great resources that are available online. You can visit whatsyourgrief.com, and we have a section on holidays and special days with dozens of articles and ideas and other resources for coping with grief at the holiday season. If you're looking to support someone else this holiday season, we have some resources there as well. It can be so important to remember to just take your cues from the person who is grieving. Assume that they know best for themselves. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to find a silver lining. Let them know that you're there to support them during the holiday season, no matter what they feel comfortable with or don't feel comfortable with. And make sure to reach out to invite people, to let them know that you're thinking of them, to know that they must be having a hard time this holiday season and that you're there for them in whatever way they most need that support from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us at whatsyourgrief.com or on social media at whatsyourgrief. We're happy to answer individual questions that you may have or provide any really specific information and support about what might be useful for you this holiday season. Thanks so much, and we'll be thinking of you throughout the holidays.